I want to tell you about one trip that was very transformational for me. I guess it was in 2017 now. I was running a production company and I had my dream client, which was NBC Universal. They were creating a game based on an idea I had pitched. So we were working on my project. It was very exciting. However, that project, which was supposed to have taken like 3 weeks or 4 weeks to complete, was now 4 months in. They were like super nitpicky, constantly changing their minds. It turned into kind of this nightmare project. The people that I was working with were just so difficult. Now, that was happening. On the other side of my business, all of these projects that were slated to start were getting pushed back. All of these clients who were like, yes, let's do this, they were now pulling out and saying, oh, we have to allocate the funds for this other thing, for that other thing. So everything was just like starting to fall apart. And I didn't understand what was happening because literally 8 months prior, everything was running really, really smoothly. So something had changed. Now, I know because of my spiritual experiences that everything is energetic. So the response that I'm getting from the world is something within me has shifted, and now everything around me is falling apart. It's never the other way around. It's never things are falling apart and now I feel terrible. No, it's like some energy inside of me had shifted. And now, as a result, everything around me was falling apart. It was no longer smooth sailing. And I didn't understand this. I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what it was that had caused this breakdown, right? And I remember one night I couldn't sleep. I really couldn't sleep. And I'm racking my brain. I want to end this project because it's been so stressful and there's been so many just last minute changes that were throwing everybody on the team off. And I just wanted to throw in the towel. And I went into the bathroom and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on with you? What is it that you actually want? Because I thought you wanted this production business, right? I thought you wanted this to make commercials and games and this and that, right? But clearly it's not. There's something you're doing internally that is creating conflict inside of you. So what do you actually want? What is it that you actually want, right? And I had this flash of an image, just this flash. And the flash was, I was standing in front of a group of people and I was talking about spirituality. I was sharing spiritual ideas like I am with you right now. And that vision, and by the way, at this time, I had been hosting meditation parties. I recruited a friend of mine because I didn't feel qualified to do this. I recruited a friend of mine and we recorded 80 freestanding meditations together and put them out on Insight Timer. We had done all of this stuff. I'd done all of this stuff in the spiritual space, but I didn't feel like I could be standing there talking about this topic intelligently. I thought there's so many people who have better things to say than me, right? So I had this vision. I'm standing and I'm the one talking and sharing my ideas about spirituality. And that vision threw me on in a tailspin. Like I literally just, for the next 3 weeks, I had this internal dialogue that said, well, who are you to talk on these topics? Why would anybody listen to you? Who cares about what you have to say? There are a million people far more qualified, right? I had this inner dialogue going rampant inside my brain. About 3 weeks later, we were at a friend's house. We had like a girls' weekend at a friend's house, and we had a fire ceremony, and we meditated and this and that, like all sorts of wooey stuff. And everyone is asleep. It's 4 a.m. Everybody is asleep in the house. There's like 4 or 5 of us, I think. And I was outside, wrapped in a blanket, staring at this fire, right? And I keep feeding the fire, and I'm staring at this fire. And inside of me is this turmoil. We've had this magical evening, and I still don't have peace. I still don't have any kind of clarity. I'm still fighting myself, and I'm still staring into the fire. And suddenly this voice came into my head, and it said, "Who are you to say no?" That vision was not created in my brain by me alone. That vision was co-created by me and that greater expanded part of myself, that non-physical part of me. So who are you to say no to that? And I knew in that moment that I had to get out of my own way. I had to stop playing it small. I had to get out of my own way. And maybe the story you're hearing right now is resonating with you. And maybe in this moment, you're receiving the message. Get out of your own way. Stop playing it small. So in that moment, I knew I had to step aside, and I made a pact. I said, okay, I will step out of my own way, and I will give to this fire all of my doubt, all my fear, and all of my personal desires even. So let me just backtrack for a moment and talk about your personal desires. When I say I'm going to give up my personal desire, what I mean is I'm giving it up. I'm giving up the attachment to it. Because everything that you have already created with your powerful desire is already coming to you. It is your attachment to it that creates the resistance and actually does not let it come to you. So when you release the resistance and you say, you know what? You know that what I've placed my order, it's like a waiter comes and gets your order and goes back into the kitchen, then you don't worry about it. You don't sit there stressing, oh, is he going to come back with the correct dish? Is he going to give me something else? Is he going to give me something I don't want? No. You give up the attachment. You give it up, right? You place your order and you let it go. And that's where the power lies. So I said, I'm going to give all of that to this fire. And then I'm going to go where I need to go. I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to say what I need to say. And I will know, by the way, the universe, God, the non-physical, it guides me. I'm just going to listen. And then wherever I am asked to go, I will show up. And when I'm in front of someone and we're talking, I'm going to tune in. And again, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to that voice that's inside. And I'm going to trust that the right words are going to come out. Now, long story short, after that night, literally less than 48 hours later, I was fired from that dream job that had turned into a nightmare. I looked at my roster of clients and saw that pretty much everyone had this delay. And I said, you know what? I don't have to sit here waiting for them to figure their stuff out. I'm just going to go wherever I need to go. The thing that was very concrete was that job, and it just dissipated, right? So, long story short, I ended up going away for 4 months, driving across the country. During those 4 months, I was inspired to start a Instagram account called Peace Unleashed, which within a couple of months gained 4,000 followers, which then turned into people calling me, asking for support around finding inner peace, which turned into a podcast called Unleash Your Peace, which I did 80 episodes of. And all of that unfolded literally within the next few months. And then I went to Canada for 7 months, finished writing my novel, The 13th Planet, which was then released in 2019. So all of that happened. And the work that I did during that year, end of 2017 and all of 2018, 2018 was the year of my spiritual pilgrimage. Right? So all of that work became the foundation of everything I have done since. So my challenge for you is you don't have to drop everything and go somewhere, right? Gallivanting is not necessarily about that, but there's a step before it, before actually going somewhere. And that step is creating space within yourself to go, right? Create space within yourself, within your life. Maybe look around at your life right now and see, where can I open up a little bit of space? And then fill that space with some kind of a trip that feels inspired. It might be a trip to the beach for an afternoon. It might be going on a hike, right? It might be just walking around the block or trying a new coffee shop by you. But really, before you make a decision of where to go, tune in and ask.